Hello, you wouldn't believe how much cat hair is on my mic. The cat is here, the mic is here, but somehow it's just covered in little clumps of cat hair. Maybe she's been recording some YouTube videos, let me know. Now we are having a look at what is coming up for us in October. There is an awful lot happening in October, as you probably already know. We've got a lunar eclipse, we've got a solar eclipse, we've got the sun moving into Scorpio, we've got Mars moving into Scorpio, and I just feel that when we hit Scorpio season, everybody's going to be feeling it in terms of doing shadow work, in terms of going really, really deep on subjects that maybe we've avoided, you know, for the rest of the year, or that we've started on but kind of parked a little bit. It could be personal development. It could be getting really down to things in a relationship, to the core of what is really going on between you and somebody else, okay? I am going to throw a couple of cards just for the overall energy as we're going in to the month and see what we get, okay? Go get yourself a drink if you need to. Make it a strong one. Oh my God, make it a strong one. Seriously, having seen that first card, oh my God, that is monumental. Okay, I'm going to take one more to go with it. That's all right. Okay, good. 2 cup cards to kick us off. Right, people, we are starting with the 8 of Cups. There is no messing with the 8 of Cups. 8 cups are in the foreground, 6 are down, we've got 2 remaining upright, and the figure is walking away. Up in the sky we have an eclipse. This is Saturn in Pisces. It is the taskmaster planet. It's like your own head teacher of the heart. So Pisces is a sign, and I am one too, so fair cop, of kind of, yeah, you know, we love everyone, I can love you unlimited, it doesn't matter what's happening, that kind of feeling, okay? A bit like summer of 60, whenever it was, flower power type feelings about love. And Saturn comes in and says, do you know what, floofy Pisces, you really need to, whatever you feel like, no matter how much you love these cups that are at the front here, you need to put some distance between you and whatever it is that's causing you pain at the moment. This card can come up about relationships, jobs, about any part of your life, or it can be more of an overall overarching umbrella card that just says you're not living authentically. You need to make some moves in order to free yourself from the old story of your past. Massive bee just went past the window then. Okay, let me know if that's a sign for you. Then we get the 3 of Cups. I like this. It lightens the 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups is definitely a serious card. It's not messing around. And it won't take no for an answer either. But the 3 of Cups is more about fellowship. So it can be reconnecting with friends, reconnecting with a loved one, reconnecting with an ex or a lover or somebody you had something karmic, probably a soul contract type relationship going on. There's opportunities for growth, but spiritual growth, oh God, it starts with B and it rhymes with it. You know, we're no longer able to say stuff like that on YouTube. But spiritual growth, why can't it just be easy? Why can't you just, you know, do some work and go, yeah, cool, I'm spiritually grown? No, you have to go through, and it always happens in Scorpio season as well. So there is something here, it's a bit like a shamanic test almost. It feels like we're going to be put to the test. Let's just take a couple more, oh God. Couple more cards on that. Straight out with the triad, which is the 3 of Swords. 3 of Swords, again, it's a triangular card. It's a 3. We've got the 3 of Cups, got the 3 of Swords. It's old wounds. it does take you back to the past when you get the Three of Swords. And it does give you, it's like a conversation that is and this is going to be weird. It's going to be a weird reading. I'm just putting that out there. And by the way, if it resonates, there will be an extended reading where I will do a lot of shadow work, I can tell, and get freaky and channel, and we'll also talk about love stuff and shadows and things like that. That will be the first link in the description box. But for now, this is like a conversation that happens between the universe and your being. Your body, your soul. It may come out somatically, so you may be experiencing tension, digestive problems, muscular tension, headaches. For some of you, eye strain I'm getting, which is really weird, so please leave me a comment if that is you. The Three of Swords is losing the old story. I think this whole reading is also to do with losing the old story of who people have always said you are. And maybe, and this is often the case, if you hear it long enough, it becomes your own internal monologue of who you are and what you're capable of and what your limits are and the way you live and what you do. And you may have not wanted to face this. It may have come up maybe in May when we had eclipses before. I think we had an eclipse in May. Possibly in Scorpio as well in May. I noticed then there was a shift, but then we went into retrograde season quite quickly after that, and a lot of the big shifts kind of got buried, and then we've been having wake-up calls, haven't we, since, about power and fire, but also about this background of pain that needs to be dealt with. Thank God we get the star to go with it. Beautiful, beautiful card. And always telling us that we need to be manifesting. Now, I know that manifesting has quite a jingly jangly reputation, you know, of, I was going to say sequins, but I'm wearing sequins on my feet. You know, glitter and unicorns and wanting to manifest £1 million and all that kind of thing. But with manifesting, it should be noted that the time when you are the most powerful is when you're really up against it. When your back's against the wall, well, when the universe is calling you out on your own accountability. Because manifesting starts with believing that you are 100% responsible for your life, your actions, and the direction it goes in. Too many of us have been sleepwalking through pain. I think, and leave me a comment because I know this is resonating with you while I'm making the video, I think that the reason that this is happening is because we lack the language and the ability, and in some cases the strength, to be able to take complete accountability for ourselves. And God, you know, being human is a really difficult job. No matter what your status in life is, it's difficult for all humans. I know that sometimes we look at celebrities or people, you know, on Instagram or whatever. I don't believe in any of that. I think everybody's life is really quite challenging. And I believe that being a human itself is a challenge. It's a quest. You know, in the tarot, the Fool starts at 0 and moves through the archetypes of the hero's journey. Everybody's life is a hero's journey. I believe that all of your lives are a hero's journey. And there are times when we could sleepwalk, and there are times when we should sleepwalk, because God, you can't be up on it all the time. You know, those very intense people who are like, listen, do this, you know, and their eyes are kind of shiny and you're like, yeah, I'm going to go and have a cup of tea. There are times to have a cup of tea and just forget about it and get on with your 3D life. But there are also times when you're called to the more 5D of things. I think October is one of those times. Itchy nose. You know it. If I have an itchy nose, it's all happening. Give me a thumbs up if this is resonating with you, please, and leave me a comment. Or just an emoji, you know, give me a prayer emoji or something. let me know you're on track, because I'm really feeling it. Okay, I'm going to take 2 more cards. Yeah. Oof, nice. Okay, 4 of Cups. 4 of Cups sometimes comes when you're so emotionally overwhelmed that you decide to go into emotional neutral. You know, that's also good. It's giving me such an itchy nose. God, I'm sorry, I'm going to be itching my nose all reading. Sometimes when you're overwhelmed, or when you're going through a stage of becoming more authentically yourself, which is it's a bit like a rebirth, it's quite painful, but worth it. Sometimes there's so much stuff that you need to just take it to 0, like putting a car in neutral. Just going to park this here for a bit, okay? There will be fits and starts. For example, I think the first couple of weeks in October, from the 0th of October to the 14th, when we have the eclipse, just going to make sure I got that date right. The 14th, we have a new moon eclipse. And I think the 2 weeks before that, the first 2 weeks of October, are times of quiet preparation. Yes, new moon eclipse on the 14th. You may feel more solitary. You may feel really comfortable with taking time to yourself. And you may feel really comfortable with reading a lot of things, you know, reading up on esoteric things, on personality things, on attachment styles, on ancestral, is it epigenetics, things like that. The things that we carry from ancestry. Because I'm feeling all of those things. And believe me, Mars goes into Scorpio on, where is it? God, Mercury goes in on the 22nd. Mars enters Scorpio on the 12th. That's important. So Mars is a ruler of Scorpio anyway, but Mars is also a really gung-ho planet of war. And Scorpios are not afraid to get their hands dirty in the emotional cesspit that is human life, okay? So Mars going into Scorpio on the 12th, and then you having the new moon eclipse on the 14th, the power begins in the mid-October. This is a time when you really want to be shooting out those manifestations. And they may not be pretty, okay? And that's why I'm saying maybe you just go to emotional neutral, but you also get the Ace of Swords to go with it. You're going to have epiphanies, right, left and centre, from all of the things that you've been looking at and have looked at for the last few years. And all of the things that you've learned or been told about love, about relationships, about succeeding, about being your best self, all of the lessons that you've had put before you, for good or for bad, you know, it's all in the same melting pot around this time. What you get to do with the Star and with the Ace of Swords is, it's almost like, I'm getting loads of channeling for you today. It's almost like, and I know nothing about this, but you know, like a smelting pot, and then you kind of make an iron thing out of it. You can tell how much I don't know about this subject. All of it's going into a smelting pot, and you get to form something with it, okay? What you form is a sword. I've got it. I kept getting like King Arthur and pulling swords out, and I was thinking, Christ, why am I channeling that? I know very little about King Arthur legends as well. But this is weird, and it's going to be a weird reading. You are channeling and making your own sword, your own Ace of Swords, because you are now becoming your own source of knowledge rather than from somebody else. Sometimes as we grow into adults, we think we've grown up because the number gets higher. And you know, in some ways we do. We certainly age, and we can see this process happening. But sometimes we leave behind that emotional, really personal development. And that is breaking away from all you've ever been told and becoming your own person. your own self. I love this. I love that you're like forging your own sword. Oof. Okay. I'm going to have a look at a couple of individual areas, okay? I'm going to look at relationships. I'm going to look at learning and career development, okay? What do we need to know, please, particularly about relationships? Ooh. I'm going to take 2 cards for that one. What do we know about relationships? That one. Oh my God. Right. First of all, we get the Empress, which I'm very pleased to see. Because the Empress is like all 4 queens put together, and it is divine feminine energy coming to the fore, finding its calling. Okay? Love this card. And we need it. It's sometimes pitched as less powerful than the Emperor because it's feminine energy, and traditionally masculine energy can be seen as more kind of extrovert. This is where it's at for you. The divine feminine is the kind of force that you are going to be working with the Star, which is also a divine feminine card. The manifesting is from the divine feminine. And also with the 3 of Swords, this is divine feminine too. It's the feminine wound. Some of you that regularly watch me will be like, Gemmy, you don't talk about this stuff. I know, I don't know what is going on today. You wait till Scorpio season. And then the other card I get for relationships, and for some of you it's for a particular relationship, is the Tower. Burn, baby, burn. Cripes. Okay. Put in the comments section what you think the Tower means at this moment, okay? Wherever you're at in the reading, put in the comments section the Tower is, and then your reading of the Tower. Because I think this is a very collective reading. Very collective reading. And I'm fascinated actually to know what your thoughts are on it. I can feel, and for many months that I've been doing readings in 2023, burning down the house has come up in love readings, pick a card readings, in my daily readings. I'm not recommending you burn down anybody's house, okay? Let's just get that out there into the open. I'm not saying physically, metaphorically, in a kind of a phoenix way. It's almost like we want to destroy the path of where we came from. It's like the beginning card that we got in the 8 of Cups. We took our leave on the eclipse. We walked. We moved away. But it's like we blazed a trail behind us to incinerate our steps. Fire is, of course, very dangerous, but also incredibly cleansing when it happens in the right way. There's something going on here about relationship, which is your divine feminine truth, which I don't think you've been able to really express or speak. And when that happens, we do get blockages in the body, we get issues with the throat, we sometimes get issues with the reproductive organs, all kinds of things, skin things like psoriasis and eczema and all kinds of eruptions that you will see in different ways, migraine headaches, whatever it is. If we're not living true to our fire, all of us have the 4 elements within us as the Fool, and we're not living true to the obliteration that fire actually gives us. So when it comes to the Tower and the Empress, there is something in a relationship that needs to be absolutely cleansed. And the eclipses, particularly the second one on the 28th of October, which is a full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus, we are in full Scorpio season at that point. I think we've got Mars, Mercury and the Sun in Scorpio at that point. You are at your bravest. So if you need to make a move within a relationship, or if a relationship needs to move for whatever reason, you will recognize this because you forged your own sword out of fire. God, that reminds me, when I say forged out of fire, there's like a terrible program on the Smithsonian Channel where loads of men just go and do forging things. I'm like, why do they do that? I kind of know now why they do it. Remember, the Empress is an incredibly strong archetype. She has survived most things. She is the ancestral knowledge from your mother, from your grandmother, from the feminine. I really hope the whole time I've been talking that Valentine has not been having an intimate wash. She's like, I'll give you divine feminine. Okay. Very, very powerful reading today, folks. I can't wait till the extended. I've got some new oracle cards that I can't use on YouTube because of the recent stuff. Anyway, don't get me started. Oof. Okay. Then we move to the Seven of Pentacles. This is a much, much calmer card. This, I believe, is when we get past the 28th and we're heading into like November. You will get, as the Seven of Pentacles does, the Seven of Pentacles is a card of looking how far you've come, looking at the harvest and thinking to yourself, where do I go from here? How much have I collected? How much of this is worth it? How much of this is good? You're in a process of taking count. Keeping score, if you will, but not in a petty kind of a way. Not in a materialistic kind of a way either. How am I trying to say this? In almost a practical sense. You will get to look back on the months of this year and think to yourself, how far did I overstep my own boundaries? How much was I actually sowing seeds to create a harvest? Do I want to continue down this particular vein, or do I want to switch? Then the Knight of Pentacles comes in and just acts as a reminder to all of us that life is very seasonal. And not just for farmers, okay? There has been seasons within a relationship, or seasons within your love life that may actually include the past and include other people and include all that karmic energy of all your ancestors, particularly the female ones, and where they've come from down the line when it comes to love, relationship. All those kinds of sorrows in some cases and joy in others. This is joy. 2 3s. This is sorrow. It's a very powerful reading. I'm just having a look. Oh, I like that. At your overall existence here. This is including your, oh wow. So for some of you, your career or what you do, it's not necessarily your job. Because you know, these days there's careers, there's jobs, there's hobbies. Some are monetized, some are not. Some are our purpose in life. Sometimes we don't do the job of what our purpose in life is. Because we just think, well, this job's all right. I can do what I really want to do when I get home. So it's for everybody who's doing something. You get this King of Wands, inspiration, creative inspiration, fire again. This person knows how to tame fire. Also, for some of you in your love life, you may be dealing with a fire sign or have some fire going on. There's fire to fire happening, okay? You get the Three of Wands as well. And the Three of Wands is about finding a level of succession and progression and something that's exciting. Some of you may not wish to continue in the same career. Some of you will be seeing 2024 in with something that lights you up a lot more brightly than what you're doing now. Poof! I like it. Woe betide anyone who gets in your way as we get into the next year. I think this Scorpio season is setting us up for the whole of 2020, well, the first half actually of 2024. Some relationships will survive this fire, and if they do, they emerge as the phoenix. And if they don't, they go down with the flames. Let's have a couple of cards just to, I don't know. I don't even know what these are for. We're just going to do, oh my God, yes. Yes. Oof. Okay. Of course we get the Ace of Wands. Of course we do. I love this thread running through the whole reading. Absolutely beautiful. Like I said, what is for you, and this really takes account of the second eclipse that we have on the 28th. What is for you will catch light and keep burning, and what is not for you will literally dissolve into ashes, okay? It's almost brutal in that the universe, it's like a final fling on it. The universe is like, right, this is the karmic, this is the shamanic test, okay, in October of what you emerge with when you come out, sort of bleary-eyed and smeared with soot. The Six of Cups, woof. For some of you, it is a revival, a reunion. And for some of you, it's the end of that. But you will be invigorated by that because you've stopped reenacting the same story over and over again. It becomes too painful to stay the same. Let's have a love oracle card. Can't wait. I have a feeling I know what this is going to be. But let's see. Let's see. In the extended, we're going into the flames. I've got some really, really deep shadow cards that I'm going to get out. We're going to look also at the Tower for your love life and the Eight of Cups and what is all that about. Nope, not this one. If you're feeling this, leave me a little flame emoji in the comments section, okay, so I can see where you are. Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to have to be careful with these because of the old YouTube stuff. Freedom. And you have to read it for yourself because I don't even think we can say those things anymore. I'm not surprised though because of the fire, okay? And what else do we get? Yes, we do. I'm going to have to come up with some kind of mime for some of my cards, aren't I? And then emotional maturity. This is the ancestors looking on. I feel like there's a real body awakening for a lot of us that our ancestors weren't allowed to have, or maybe didn't live long enough to have, or lived in a society, which we seem to be going back to at the moment, but lived in a society that was less free than the one we live in now, okay? There is no stopping you if you take this with both hands. It's bravery and it's Scorpio season and it happens whether you like it or not. But I'm really, really pleased. I think it's really empowering because whatever happens, it's your story now. You're not dragging along the old tome of the past, okay? Woof. Right, I'm going to go do the extended reading. If this has resonated, yeah, give it a thumbs up and say hello in the comments because I read all my comments. and I try to reply to a lot of my comments. I do it all myself. So yeah, come and say hello to me in the comments section. Those of you that want to carry on the lunacy in the extended reading, it's the first link in the description box of the video, and I'm going to go and do that right now. Namaste.